Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Real Talk with the GMan.
Gerald,
Yes.
hi.
Hi. How you doing, Lady T? That's my wife, Lady T. She has my same uh, image. So
Avatar.
you see two G-mans on the screen here.
I know. I was
One
like,
is
what happened?
you have to change your avatar, whatever it's called,
Avatar.
avatar.
I don't know how to do that, so I'm just gonna leave it alone.
Just leave it alone. Everybody knows
It
my
came
voice,
up
and everybody knows
on
your voice.
it came up on YouTube. It says watch now.
Oh, good, good,
I
good,
like
good, good,
that. Oh my gosh, I like that.
good, good, good. I was gonna go with my actual look, but I said I do it this way right now. I don't know how it's gonna look on YouTube though, but nevertheless, we're here and we're glad to be here with you this evening. We were going to talk about. We'll give it another minute because it's not actually 7:30 yet. We'll give it another minute, see if who does come in. We're gonna have a show nevertheless. You know how I am. I'm an old time preacher that when I say something, I'm gonna do something the time I say it. So we're still gonna have a show. We can do it alone and we can do it together. But nevertheless, I have my wife, so you can't do better than that, can you? You can't do
Nope.
better than my wife. And I thank her for showing me about this StreamYard. I know I was talking to Bernard, one of our regular guests, and he's the first one I know that used it on a regular basis. Him and my friend Frank. But Teresa's really perfected it and showed me exactly what to do with it. So I thank her for that. Lady T, we want you to keep her in prayer. We got word today that the surgery that was going to occur on the 9th has been pushed up and now it's going to be August the 2nd. So just keep her in prayer. God is able. This is a serious operation. It's dealing with her brain. They're going to try to get an aneurysm and to clip it so that it is no longer a problem for her. But we know that God is able. He brought me through last month, and He's going to bring her through this month. We've had an interesting summer in 2024. I bet neither one of us will ever forget it, will we, Teresa?
No.
This is an unforgettable summer of 2024. So just keep us in your prayers, keep us in your thoughts, keep us on your mind, and particularly my wife. I had my season, now she's getting ready to have hers. But we're kind of strong characters. First have strong faith in a God that cannot fail, and we have the love of each other. She brought me through, and I'm gonna stand with her as she goes through. That's just what we do. 25 years this year. We've already known each other 25 years. We'll be celebrating our 25th anniversary on November the 4th of this year. So let's move on. We're gonna see who does come in. Those who can will. Those who can't won't. This is a trial run, literally a trial run. This is the first time we've been on StreamYard. Normally we're on Blog Talk Radio, but of late, Blog Talk has not been reliable. Sometimes our shows have had to be canceled. Our show on Tuesday on Sunday rather had to be canceled. It was we produced Victor show on Tuesday in conversation with Victor C on Sunday. Rather, I keep on saying Tuesday on Sunday of each week, and we had to cancel it. We've had to cancel our Wednesday program. We'll talk with the G-Man in over time, and so we're trying to find a better way. We're trying to find a better way to do this. Salute, Frank. Can you get on? If not, we thank Frank for stopping by. He's in our chat room, and we thank him for being here with us this evening. Okay, let's go on with our program this evening. We intended to start tonight's broadcast with what I choose to call the state of Black America. I'm backstage and see how do you bring our guests on. Frank, you have to help me out with this one. How you bring your guest on. I clicked you, Frank. Let's see. I'm backstage, he says. Can you click on me? I clicked on the Okay, I got you, Frank. I got you. Head to stage. Okay. Good evening, Frank.
What's going on, Bishop?
How
What's
you
going on,
doing?
man?
I'm learning this. I'm not like you and Bernard. You are all pro at this. My wife Teresa's on with us, and we're
Hey, how
going
you
to
doing? How you doing?
delve into some interesting
Hello.
topics.
But see, this is the good thing, though. This kind of well, it's not good that Blog Talk is acting up like that. But this is the good thing. You can get on here and you can learn this, and then you could, you can get a broader more people and stuff to tune in on here too. You see what I'm saying?
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
you can
I'm
get
gonna
followers
I'm gonna
and
be calling you
subscribers.
Frank too, but I want you to kind of help me through some of this stuff.
I got you, man. I got you. No
Oh man, I know
problem.
you will. I know you will.
Heck yeah,
Well,
man.
well, well let's move on with our program. Those who can come on, and those who can't won't. We invited everybody, our regulars, so hopefully they'll be coming on one by
You know
one.
what? I'm gonna send the
Yep.
link. I'm gonna send. You want me to send the
Oh,
link out to
yeah.
certain
Thanks,
people?
Frank. Good, good, good. And
All
any
right.
all the help I can get, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, brother. Well, during the rally, we were going to talk about, as we said last week, we were going to talk about the state of Black America, from vision to implementation. But because of what's happened this week, so much has happened, so many dramatic situations have happened. It's had a domino effect. One thing led to another thing, which led to another thing, which led to another thing. So we just feel compelled to discuss some of these things. And if we don't have time to talk about the Black experience here in America, we will be doing that on next week. Okay, so we're going to begin with the shooting of the 45th president of the United States and current Republican candidate for president, Donald J. Trump, which occurred this past Saturday, July 13th, at a Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. During the rally, while President Trump was speaking, shots rang out, with one hitting the former president's right ear, another killing a gentleman who was in attendance and a Trump supporter, as well as two others being taken away with serious, really virtually critical injuries. Authorities searched for motives after Trump assassination attempt. Former President Donald Trump said on social media he was, quote, shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear when gunfire erupted at a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. The Secret Service shot and killed the suspected gunman, identified as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crox. Federal authorities say the shooting was an assassination attempt. A WSJ reporter was at the rally as the shooting unfolded. One spectator was killed, and two others were critically injured after multiple shots were fired. The one gentleman that was killed heroically was trying to protect his family, his wife and his child, and he covered them. And as he was covering them, he was shot. One spectator was killed, and we certainly send.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
It appears that Donald Trump has been hit in the right ear after this attempted assassination at his rally in Pennsylvania today. The law enforcement officials have said that the former president was quickly pulled away by the Secret Service agents, and his campaign team now say that he's doing fine. The attack by a shooter who law enforcement officials say was neutralized by the Secret Service was the first attempt to assassinate a president or presidential candidate since Ronald Reagan was shot in 1981. It comes during a turbulent period in American political history. Just 4 months from the presidential elections and days before Trump is to be officially named the Republican nominee at his party's convention. Two officials have said that the shooter was not an attendee at the rally and was killed by US Secret Service agents. Eyewitnesses are said to have seen a man climbing on a roof for several minutes before the shooting began. The official said the shooter was engaged by members of the US Secret Service counter-assault team and killed. The heavily armed tactical team travels everywhere with former presidents and current presidents and major party nominees, and is meant to confront any active threats while other agents focus on safeguarding and evacuating the person at the center of the protection. Butler County District Attorney Richard Goldlinger said in a phone interview that the suspected gunman was dead and at least one rally attendee was killed. Trump was at the time showing off a chart of border crossing numbers during his last rally before the RNC on Monday when the shots began. It took 2 minutes from the moment of the first shot for Trump to be placed in a waiting SUV. In the video pictures that we've seen, the Secret Service rush on top of Donald Trump to try and protect him. He looks quite bewildered. His hair is tousled, his shirt is open, and you can see blood around his right.
Okay. So what do you? We're going to move on, but let me hear what you have to say. We want to welcome Bianchi to the stage as well, to the broadcast. Bianchi, welcome. We're in our new location. Hopefully, prayerfully, this will work out for us. But just too much problem with the blog talk, and so we decided to do it this way, at least, and see this how it all works out. But welcome, Bianchi.
Hello, Bishop. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I won't turn my camera on. I don't want them women calling my number.
I had mine on too, but I had to go out and come back in, so now I got my face shown again here.
Yeah.
But, what do you say about what happened on Saturday? What is your take on it? We're going to talk a little bit more about it, but what is your take on it?
Well, it's like this. This is one thing that Secret Service head should resign or be fired. It shouldn't be no letting her stay there. That's it. It's over. You got to go. If I had a foreman that done something that required that somebody got killed on the job, he's got to go. And she was recommended by Jill Biden. Secondly, I hear him now trying to blame Iran. Iran didn't have anything to do with that, nor Russia. And, Iranian leaders speak in Persian. So how in the hell you know what they're saying anyway? And
exactly.
The local police should not be involved in protecting the president. They should be handling traffic and have foot patrols and things beat downs in order to make sure things are not being used for something nefarious. That protection should be with people who's trained coming out of that agency. And another point, if you got a sniper who has the assassins in his crosshairs for 3 minutes waiting on the okay to shoot, then something's wrong with that. And they should have deployed drones that can view roofs around in the community, in that area, should I say. Matter of fact, they should have had at least a dozen of them on each building, monitoring the buildings, making sure Nothing is going on top of it.
Okay, thank you. I mean, we heard eyewitness account of someone's, not just this individual. I just played the video, but others have also saw the gentleman on the roof. I mean, we could see it ourselves. Those who saw the tape, the various tapes of people filming it, and we also saw the FBI, or at least the Secret Service agent or some law enforcement agency actually on the roof nearby, and yet
Well,
they go on, Bianca.
them people with vests on with FBI on the back of, you don't know who those folks are. You can go to Walmart and buy something like that. And like I said before, you shouldn't have you don't know who's on the, you don't know nothing about your local police. They
That's
don't
true.
have no means to vet them to know who they are, where they coming from. And I've seen some pictures of some men with FBI on the back of their vest, on the back of their back, and they look like a bunch of cupcakes. They look like a bunch of cupcakes.
Right.
So you don't know who those people are. The best thing for local police is to control traffic in and around the area. As the motorcade gets ready to get on the highway, they're supposed to make sure that from their path along, they travel along the highway to the airport, all enter and exit ramps are closed, all overpass are blocked so nobody can be on the overpass and shooting down at the motorcade. They wouldn't know what vehicle he's in anyway because all the vehicles look alike. That's the job for a local police department.
That's a good point.
Right.
Yeah, Bianchi, what's going on? How y'all doing?
Hey,
look, that's how you know. I know you might not agree with me on this, but that's how you know this whole thing was staged. This thing was staged, and see, this is the thing. Even in the movies, they don't do. See, in the movie, it's staged, right? The movie stage, it's all scripted. But even in the movies, they don't do it. As they're not as incompetent as something like this. You see what I'm saying? And why all of a sudden they didn't have no drones, like you just said? And all of a sudden, today we're going to skip the drones today, right? You see what I'm saying? And why would we skip the drones? That was an important rally. That was the rally right before the Republican National Convention. Why would you skip the drones that day for two? That was a building dude climb up on. You would need a ladder. You can't scale that building by yourself. You need a ladder or something like that to get up on that building. So you mean to tell me nobody's seen him get on that building with that ladder? And he got on the building with the rifle. So there was a rifle in a bag or in a briefcase? So you mean to tell me people seen him climbing up on that building with a briefcase or a duffel bag, and nobody thought nothing was of it? And this was how you know it was really staged, right? How did somebody say that they told the cop and the cop would? You really think a cop would ignore that? You really think a cop would ignore something like that? And like you just said, why were there local police like that? They're like that.
Let me tell you something else, Frank.
Mm-hmm. They secure the perimeter too before that happens.
Let me show you how you know it's something funny going on. Now, the Secret Service assassin had the shooters in his sight for 3 minutes, waiting on an order to shoot. Now, what did that remind you of, Bishop? The same thing happened in Afghanistan. Remember?
Yep.
The soldier, the sniper, had the suicide bomber in his sight.
Lucky number 3.
Waiting on the okay to go ahead and shoot him.
All right.
And they let the bomber go ahead and blow himself up, thus by killing people and also some U.S. soldiers.
Let me say something when you get a chance.
That's who that is right there with the K.
So that just shows you some sort of connection between the Secret Service, the CIA was involved in this, and also in Afghanistan. Go ahead, Bernard. How you doing?
That's BJ.
All right, number one. I mean, they keep claiming some people died. You seen any bodies? No. The number 3 you just pointed out, they told you 3.
Bernard? Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Stage show. Yeah, I see. Stage show.
Mm-hmm.
None of those factors made sense. Now, if the guy hit him in the ear, you know, he had the Republican admin 2 days later. Secret Service would not let you get up. And the lady is not getting fired because she was just doing her job. The building was purchased by BlackRock 4 months ago, and that shooter who you're talking about, he was in a BlackRock ad 2 years ago in 2022. BlackRock controls every corporation basically in the United States. These corporations cannot, like in the Revelation, the dragon. BlackRock is the dragon that controls the other organizations. They tell them, hey, if you don't want your business to shut down, you have to agree with our DEI policies.
That's true.
And that's why a lot of business shut down. They're not trying to agree. If you don't have the money to fight BlackRock, you can't win. Larry Fink, $10 trillion organization. The Jews are running this shit. Yep. And that's what they plan to do. Now, if you look at The Simpsons already told you what was going to happen. 3 months ago, they had the movie Civil War. What happened? The president got assassinated. 3 months later, I mean, the script is already laid out. And then all of a sudden then they leaked the thing online. Oh, he had a conversation with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And Robert F. Kennedy had talking about he helped win. And then they told Robert F. Kennedy Jr., you said you was on the phone with Trump, and they made RFK Jr. apologize. So there you go.
Why?
So the whole thing.
Wait. Why was a BlackRock building and a BlackRock actor?
The whole thing is about keeping Donald Trump from becoming president. And we have observed the whole gamut of thing that went down by trying to keep him off the ballot.
Or maybe
by coming up with all these fictitious charges that's dropping left and right. Jack Smith, what he was doing is illegal. It's not constitutional. One thing after another. They don't want the man to become president. Then it falls into a lot of stuff that Bernard talking about. The one world government. You got the climate change one world. You got the Green New Deal one world. And all that other stuff. So they don't want Donald Trump to be president. But I don't think that somebody did get killed. And you'll find that.
Yeah.
That's what they say. But this is my thing. Why? How come this would be the best? This would probably give them the best rating, like the most ratings of the damn year. Why are they not at the hospital or live on location at the hospital where the people are at?
Well, you can tell and see if somebody got killed. You find out where the man came from. All you got to do is check the coroner records there. They public.
They said somebody. They said one person got killed and one person got injured or something, right?
One person got killed, 2 people got injured.
Yeah, the coroner records. The coroner records in this whatever. I don't know where the man's from, but they would show that.
Why? How come why are they not at the hospital? Why is the media not at the hospital?
I don't know.
See that? I mean, I don't know. I just think stuff like that. It's kind of like, because that would be a lot. They're
supposed to follow the president. They wasn't supposed to follow no collateral damage.
And look, when they look. So another thing, right? Why would the Secret Service is supposed to get you out of there? They're supposed to neutralize the situation, get you out of there. Why was he still right there? And there was a photo op to me, throwing his fist up and everything like that. They're supposed to keep you out the line.
That may have been. Also look at when Donald Trump wanted to putting National Guard there in D.C. on January 6th, and he was told not to. What's up with that?
Well, in regards to the person being killed or not being killed, I believe he was killed. His wife said that President Biden had called her, but she refused to speak to him.
I don't blame her.
Now, that's one report that I did see. So I believe someone was killed. They say he was shielding his family. That's how he got the bullet.
He was shielding his daughter. You're absolutely right.
So
if it was 5 shots, how many shots was fired, Mrs.
I'm not sure. I don't know how many shots, but it was several. It was
Yeah,
like 5 or 6. It had to be like at least 5 or 6.
them shots had to go someplace.
Yeah, and the people kept looking to his right. So somebody was seeing something. And he finally turned around to the right. And I was telling my husband before all the other stuff came out, I was like, had he not turned his head, he probably would have got a worse shot than he got.
Well,
Um
if he hadn't moved his head, and I'm saying that God kissed him to make him move his head where he was shooting at his temple. That's what the kid was targeting, his temple.
yeah.
And the bullets, you can hear bullets when they zing by you, and that's probably made him turn his head to see what the heck that was. Sound like a bee. It was going subsonic. But anyway, yes, that did happen. People said it don't happen, but I can understand that too. But the
Well,
thing is,
the gentleman's name was Corey Cambarati. He was 50 years old from Shavar. He raised 2 daughters with his high school sweetheart while working at a project and tooling engineer, working as a project and tooling engineer. He also spent a decade as an Army reservist and many years as a volunteer firefighter, where he also served for a time as chief, according to his obituary, both in the church and in the newspaper.
Well, you know what? I got a question. Why? How come the media is not telling us what kind of rifle was it though? What kind of did it
No,
shoot?
no, they did say what it was. They said what it
Did
was. It was an AK. Now you know the
it can't be an
rifle
AK.
type of things, Pianki. They said it was an AK-12 or something of that
If it
nature.
was an
That's not a sniper.
AK-47, he wouldn't have no ear, man. He
That's
wouldn't
what I'm
have no
saying.
ear.
He
That was
said
an
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's
AK-12.
what he
Come
said.
on,
Those
man.
are 5.56.
I don't know about guns, so I don't know.
Okay, put it like this. Okay, look, I know a little something. I know BJ
Yeah.
know. Look, okay, 5.5. I got an AR myself, right? Look, a AR-4 shoots either 5.5s or 2.23s, right? Them kind of right. You see, that's too big of a caliber, and it's too be a little
he
bit.
didn't.
If it's too big of a caliber for a sniper rifle, right? That's why they usually go with the 22 longs. You see what I'm saying? A 22 caliber bullets for sniper rifles. You see what I'm saying? Smaller. You see what I'm saying? It's more sleek. Easier to hit the target. You see what I'm saying? So that I mean, so okay, let's just say it's a sniper rifle, right? Because he was on the roof with the rifle, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The thing is, okay, so it can't be an AR for one. They're lying about the kind of gun that is caliber. For two, you see what I'm saying? See, why would they lie about the caliber?
No, it wasn't no AR. You're right. They use snipers use 22s.
You know what I'm saying? And the thing is too, so so we can't have inconsistency in a real story. They're not gonna have inconsistency about the kind of gun. That's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? That's where the media comes in to fabricate. And then for two, the thing
If it's
is,
an AR, he wouldn't have no ear. Straight
how
up.
many shots?
Yeah,
How many shots? This is my thing. How many shots did the sniper fire? Did he fire 5 shots?
I think
They
he shot
said
5.
they said as many as 10 were shot.
Well, I didn't hear that, man.
See, they keep changing it up. They keep changing it. That's what I'm
Yeah, I
talking
mean,
about.
yeah, I know they changed that part.
And see, that's how you know it's not real.
Yeah.
And look, check this out. Look. They had a totally different person when it first started. They had an Arab looking dude with glasses and a mustache. That was and then his name was something. Damn, I should have took a screen. I should have recorded it. Someone told me it was a wholly different name. And then later on in the day, they came out with this white boy.
Well, Frank,
why are you the people?
all those people up there with FBI vests on, you don't know who they were. They could have been somebody came across the southern border. You don't know who they are. And if you look at the face of the head of the Secret Service, that woman looked like she's a devilish.
That's what I'm saying. It may be an actor. See, and look at the thing. I was just about to say that them Secret Service agents did not look real. They did not look at how they was dressed. It just didn't look.
Some of them had a gut.
See,
You could see them standing sideways and they had a gut. When the Secret Service agent or anybody in that capacity walk around that unfit?
BJ, what's the other thing, BJ? So the police were inside. There was a gang of I guess regular police, right? Municipality policy enforcers. That's what they are. So there was a gang. Why were they inside that building while he was on the roof?
Exactly.
Unless they knew something. And then this is the thing. When Green Beret, when Secret Service, when anybody like that, any kind of forces like special forces like that have events like that, they make sure the perimeter is secured.
And another thing, why you got to get permission to fire on somebody who's got a rifle pointed at the goddamn president.
Well, when they have somebody
Uh,
like Trump, who is well hated, um, by many, why is it when they have these type of rallies and stuff like that, they don't put up like bulletproof, bulletproof shield
good point.
around them at the podium?
That's a
That's a
good
good.
question.
That's a good question.
That's a very good question.
But get this though. Just think of all the attempts they have tried to prevent him from becoming president. See, the object is they don't want him to be president, right? They don't want the attempts that have failed. Now they're resorting to the last options, and that is to kill him.
My Black history, Black Revolution teacher taught us there at Temple University back in the 70s. He said this: the government will first, for those who considered enemies of the state, the government will first try to ruin your reputation.
Yeah,
To say
defame
all
you.
kinds of stuff about you, to try to ruin your reputation, to get people from being supportive of you. If that doesn't work, then they try to bring you into the government.
Now,
That'll
hang on
keep
for
your
a
mouth
second,
shut.
Bishop. Let's relate that to what happened in life. They tried to do that to Martin Luther King, right?
That's what I'm
Did
saying.
they try to defame him?
Oh yeah,
And they
yeah.
couldn't do that, so they ended up assassinating him.
But let me say the process, because it's deeper than that with Trump. So the first process, they tried to assassinate your character. That didn't work. Then what they try to do is bring you into the fold, bring you into the government. That'll keep you quiet because now you're part of the gang. If that doesn't work, then like you say, Bianchi, if those two things don't work, they can't ruin your reputation. People still support you. People still love you. People still back you. They can't. Even though you're part of the government, you're not really a part of the government because you resist the government. So they know that's not working. So what do you do with a man whose reputation stays strong and who you can't bribe? What do you do with them? You
They
kill them.
kill him. And
That's
let
the
me
next
show you
step.
this. Now let's go point out the things they done to try to defame him. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you got two entities at least. I don't know how many more. Is the news media and the federal government are enemies of the United States. Look how the news media use certain words like Hitler, Mussolini,
Right.
in a
Fascist.
reference to
Fascist.
Donald Trump.
Yeah. Nazi.
I have a question,
Yeah.
and I'm not political, and this is probably my last question because I'm logging off. But is Biden? Do people want Biden in office? Is Trump so bad that they really would want a man who looks like he has dementia or something going on with him, that they would rather have him in office than Trump?
What you got is that they can use Biden. They can use Biden to implement the things that bring the United States finally to its knees. See, these things has been going on for a long time. What we call the destruction of the fabric of this country. See, the one world government, the United Nations, the Declaration of Human Rights, and and now they're blaming Iran and want to blame Russia and probably want to blame China, but I don't know if they're gonna blame China. They are telling that to the American people. Like if Iran had a leader, Ahmadinejad. He was giving a rally speech, and they said that he called out for the death to America. Well, hell, he was speaking in Persian. How you know what they were saying? And see, this is what those people do. Just like if you give arms and weapons that's going to be used to hurt somebody, well, yeah, they're going to call out death to you. And that's what the United States is doing, giving weapons and military equipment to factions over there to hurt those people. It's just like if you was giving drugs at a schoolyard full of kids. Well, you're going to be implemented in that illegal activity. And in their country, they call out for you to be put to death. They say death to you. Get away from, stop you. But anyway, I'm gonna be quiet.
Okay, moving on to, I like that point. Let me move on because we want to get a couple more points. It's really, this has been a week more than just the Trump thing. I mean, with the assassination attempt or whatever you may consider it to be. It goes beyond that. One thing I want to talk about a little bit is how the President Biden, uh, did it, how he responded to it, what he has now said since then. Remember, he came along and said, "Now this is the time we need to reconcile. We need to unite. We need to get this hate speech type of thing out of our system." Keep in mind, most Democrats are indirectly, if not directly, blaming Trump and his people for what happened to Trump. So once again, Biden, but now Biden went back on the attack with what was the guy, the black newsman Holtz. He went to the interview, was very angry at the commentator and at the interviewer. Got because of what he was saying, questioning his ability to govern and all of this type of thing. And now Biden is pulling off the gloves again. See, they are very shrewd. Biden, for a moment, backed off for a moment. He ordered all and critical news items and ads about Trump off. They knocked down the MSNBC show Joe in the Morning, and they held them back for a couple of days. But now everything's back to normal. Once again, this rhetoric, this inflammatory rhetoric is beginning to crop up again. Biden is showing his true colors, and as well as some other Democrats who were kind of still and quiet for a moment. They're now coming back into the woodwork. They're challenging. We're going to talk about it in a moment. But what do you think the reaction of the Democrats is? How much do you think some of the rhetoric of people like Maxine Waters, people like Van Jones, I mean, I can go on and Roland Martin and others, how much of that has stirred people up to this kind of violent reaction? No matter what it is, it's stirring up something that's not good. It's really not. And the Democrats have to at least take their part of it. No matter what you say, Trump's people and all this. It's weird. It's ironic how everything they've accused Trump's people would do if they felt that Trump was losing and if he lost is already beginning to show itself in the Democrats. Biden at that debate was pathetic. Even since then, we talked about last week about how he just stood there, or actually sat there in the church, having to be instructed on when to get up. When the pastor said, "Okay, all of us stand up," he just sat there bewildered, looking at his handlers. He did it over and over again. The Holtz, the George Stephanopoulos interview, the interview with Holtz. I mean, he began to get angry, began to mumble. You couldn't understand what he was saying some of the time. He's continuing to do that. He denies. He's talking about, "I've been 28 events. I've been here and there. My mental capacity is fine." But now we learned today that he's been seeing a expert in Parkinson's disease undercover. And but they would rather have this individual. And I'm going to tell you the truth, as somebody disabled, I really think it's almost ableism and almost cruel to keep him as president. Not talking about the policies and none of that stuff. To keep a man like that, all the rigor of this whole thing.
Why isn't it against the law?
It probably somebody could really get charged with ADA situation.
But why isn't it against the law?
Act would be involved in this thing. They really could. You're right, Teresa.
Why isn't it against the law that somebody in the condition that he's in? Because I mean, you don't got to be Stevie Wonder. We're not blind. We can clearly see that there's something wrong with the man. So why is it that he, irrespective of the ADA, whatever you just got finished saying, I agree with you, but somebody should be held accountable for him still being in office, because I'm not political, but I know darn well he ain't making no decisions. Okay?
Well,
you're right about that.
There's nothing to remove him. He is part of the Democratic National Party. Trump. the Republican National Party, any other independent. He is a party candidate.
But
Even
he's
if,
incompetent.
well, that's up to the party to decide. See, this is where how the politics, this how politics work. That party can remove him if they want to, no matter what the people have came out and voted in the primary. That don't mean nothing.
Yeah, that's what he kept on saying, Bianchi. He kept on saying, well, 14 million people voted. I'm going with the people.
He
Like you
just
say,
he
that don't
just
mean nothing.
saying that.
That don't
Technically,
mean nothing.
that don't mean anything. You got to know this, and I keep harping on this. And y'all, it's the states that choose that president under that party. He's carrying a party platform. People say it's him. No, that's a party
Right.
platform.
And we're going to talk
Well,
about the
then the
Republican
party is jacked
platform
up too.
tonight.
Then the party is jacked up. If you want an incompetent man standing up to be the face of the Democratic Party,
But
Y'all
but
something
let me
wrong.
say this, Pierre. Let me say this, Teresa. There's two things you have to remember. First of all, some of them want him in there because, like Bianchi said earlier, they're in control as long as he's in there. Why would you want somebody sharp,
They don't care. They ain't
competent?
worried. They just want his face. Let me tell you how
That's
this
what I'm
works
saying. That's
too.
what I'm saying. And then, but my problem is, why would people like Jill, his wife, I indict her more than anybody else
She's
because she
just
has an
crazy.
ear to him.
Let me tell you how this. Let me tell you something else too. Members of the party, you got foreigners that come to them on the auspices of NGOs and advocates, and they want certain thing access to the United States. They go through those politicians, especially the senators, and that's how they get their way. They buy them out. The APAC, the American Jewish Organization,
Right.
they take money and not the money that the United States give aid to Israel, the billions and billions. Well, that money is given to these advocacy groups like APAC, and then they buy out the politicians. Let me give you an example. They said they're gonna spend $100 million, the ADL, Anti-Definition League, to remove those black female squad members. Presley, Talib, Corey Bush. They already working to remove Corey Bush and whoever else.
Umar, yeah.
Omar, yeah, especially
Yeah,
her.
all them. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Rashid.
how that stuff works. If they want access to ports, well, the Chinese are going to buy the politicians. If they want to have stuff come into the country free of tariff, they buy out the politicians, like they did with that black politician. The Nigerian done that black politician in New Orleans, Jefferson.
Yeah.
He was taking money from Nigerians, and he would hiding it in his freezer. So that's how that stuff works. They buying off the United States. That's what's going on.
And the sad part about it is, in terms of what you had initially asked, Teresa, the problem is that there are politicians that want to continue to run, not just politicians. There are civilians that are running this government as well, just as much, if not more, than the politicians. Because
Yeah,
when all
these
said and done,
organizations like
exactly. When it's all said
LGBTQ.
and done, it's the special interest groups, it's the oligarchs, it's the lobbyists. Those are really who run this government. And the politicians are
You're
nothing but
absolutely
puppets.
right.
You know, and the politicians are just puppets being bought, like Bianchi just said, being
You know,
bought by these organizations. And who would want Biden to leave when in my estimation, Obama is serving his eighth term. He's ready to serve an eighth term. You know, his fourth term rather. He's almost as long as president as Franklin Roosevelt.
they use him because of they
long
use him because of the color of his skin. That's it. That's what they use him for. They were going to try to do that.
We know
They
that.
were going to try to do that with
Kamala.
Condoleezza Rice. No, Condoleezza Rice.
Right.
But see, in Arab culture, they don't pay no attention to females at that extent.
Right.
So they kind of moved her off to the side. And that woman is very intelligent too.
Oh yes, yeah.
By the way. So that's what's going on. And see, I'm gonna tell you something else. Blacks is not in the picture no more. Blacks have been replaced.
Oh yeah, we are, and we're gonna talk about that next week. because I really wanted to deal with that. But I wanted to talk about these things. Now we into the like Frank was saying before. This thing all happened between two things. Now we are at the Republican National Convention. The Republican Party has formally nominated Donald Trump as its presidential nominee for a third cycle in a row, cementing his status as the GOP standard bearer nearly a decade after first ascending to the top of the party. The selection represents a remarkable moment for the former president, who over the last 3 years has faced denunciation for the January 6th riot, multiple criminal indictments, political setbacks, and just this weekend, an assassination attempt. His nomination Monday came as no surprise, as an overwhelming majority of convention delegates were already pledged to support Trump after he dominated the primaries. Nikki Haley, the former governor of South Carolina and former Republican challenger to Trump, released her delegates earlier this month and encouraged them to back Trump in Milwaukee. Earlier this month, the Supreme Court ruled he is immune from criminal prosecution for some actions he took as president. It was another win at the high court after the justices ruled in March that states couldn't remove him from the 2024 ballot. And on Monday, the federal judge overseeing Trump's classified document trial in Florida dismissed the federal criminal case. So all these things would made them desperate. This is all the stuff. Bianchi named some, I'm naming the others. Most dramatically, Trump on Saturday evening survived the shooting that federal law enforcement officials say was a likely assassination attempt. Saturday's shooting at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, killed one rally goer and wounded two others. A bullet pierced Trump's right ear, and a Secret Service sniper team shot dead 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crocs, who was identified as the gunman.
Now, let me say this real quick.
Go ahead.
A state can remove federal candidates from its state ballots, but they didn't, because states control their what they call franchisements. That's a state is a separate. Oh, you in Pennsylvania? That's a country. We got 50 countries that call themselves states. They got their own government. They got their own military, which is their state militia, not the National Guard. It's their state militia. Louisiana has two: one organized and one's not organized.
Right.
So you got a president and vice president. That's one box you mark. Then you got Congress people and you got U.S. senators that represent those states. Now, if a state that represents the state, those are state ballots. Now, if a state doesn't want Donald Trump or anybody else on their state ballot, they got a right to do that. Courts can't do anything about that. So what the federal government can do, even mentioned in the Constitution, they can have their own federal ballots. There's nothing the state can do about that.
Right. I got you. Mm-hmm. That's good. Good information, Bianchi. Thank you. Continuing, judge dismisses Trump documents case over special counsel appointment. She cited the manner in which special counsel Jack Smith was appointed to investigate the former president's handling of classified documents. U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon has dismissed the classified documents case against former President Donald Trump in an order Monday morning over the manner in which special counsel Jack Smith was appointed. Quote, the superseding indictment is dismissed because special counsel Smith's appointment violates the appointments clause of the United States Constitution, wrote Judge Cannon, who was appointed to the bench by the former president. Special counsel Jack Smith had contested this argument, and other federal courts had upheld the constitutionality of special counsels. Her opinion closely tracked the reasoning outlined by conservative Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, and a recent concurrence in a separate case against Trump. Trump applauded the dismissal and called for all cases against him to also be dropped, including the criminal charges related to efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. Quote, as we move forward in uniting our nation after the horrific events of Saturday, the dismissal of the lawless indictment in Florida should be just the first step, Trump posted on Truth Social. Quote, the Democrat Justice Department coordinated all of these political attacks, which are an election interference conspiracy against Joe Biden's political opponent, me. Next, Trump chooses Senator J.D. Vance, a former critic, as his vice presidential pick. With a white bandage over the ear, grazed by just 2 days earlier by an attempted assassin's bullet, Donald Trump stole the show when he made his first public appearance since the shooting of the opening of the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. Just hours before the convention began, Trump had chosen Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio as his running mate, selecting a rising star in the Republican Party and previously outspoken critic of Trump, who in recent years has closely aligned himself with the former president. Trump announced his pick Monday on Truth Social. Quote, excuse me, after lengthy deliberation and thought, and considering the tremendous talents of many others, I've decided that the person best suited to assume the position of President of the United States is Senator J.D. Vance of the great state of Ohio, Trump wrote. He praised Vance's education, credentials, and business experience. If elected in November, Vance, 39, will be one of the youngest vice presidents in history. He is a relative political newcomer, winning his Senate seat in 2022 after rising to prominence as an author who wrote a best-selling memoir. His collection adds a staunch defender of Trump's movement to the ticket, and some Republican observers said it could help Trump solidify his base of white working class voters, particularly in the upper Midwest. What do you think of this? Of the choice of J.D. Vance? Anybody know anything about him?
Well, let's look at this real quick.
Mhm.
They talk about and make reference. You have to pay attention what the news say. He was staunchly against Donald Trump, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, Kamala Harris was against Joe Biden, wasn't she?
Oh my Lord, yeah.
There you go.
Publicly was against him.
There you
Called him a
go.
racist and everything else, didn't she?
Absolutely.
That one debate called him a
All
racist.
that stuff is window dressing, and they're gonna pick some. Hell, when we looked at Pence, you never would have thought Pence was the type of person that he ended up showing himself to be. He looked so innocent, looked like one of those preachers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm glad he did pick this man. I don't know much about him, but it just goes for reason. What you need somebody is that if they get rid of him, you got the other one there that's going to carry on the plan.
Yeah. You have to look at that too. Presidents always, to me, should always look at if something would happen. Don't have to be dementia. It could be an accident. It could be anything that would disqualify him or her from being president. They have to look at that number two person. That person is very important. We know for a fact that the vice president officially in the Constitution is the president of the Senate, which means that anytime there's a vote, that tying vote is always broken by the vice president / president of the Senate, which now is Kamala Harris. And she's done it time and time again. When the Senate would be deadlocked and gridlocked, her vote would always carry the Democratic position. So that VP is very, very important, who that person is and what they stand for. We talk about enemies. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Certainly Kennedy and Johnson were not friends by no stretch. And you know this, Bianchi, because you
Sure
came
wasn't.
along at the same time. They were no friends by no stretch of the imagination. But Kennedy realized if he wanted to get the South on his side, he needed a Lyndon Baines Johnson to do that.
Lyndon Baines Johnson was a thug.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But he knew that in order to get that South,
He would beat you up.
this Catholic Northerner had needed a good old
That's
boy
right.
on his ticket.
That's right. Johnson would take you in the room, close the door.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. He was a good old boy. He was a good old boy from Texas.
But I'm gonna tell you what, that's what this country needs, because you are going up against world faction. They're not sensitive to no civil rights. They are not sensitive to no US Constitution, especially the way ours work. They don't have that where they come from.
Oh no, not a bit, not a bit. Other takeaways from the first day of the Republican National Convention. One of the most unprecedented things that happened was the speech delivered in prime time by Sean O'Brien, the International Brotherhood of Teamsters president. Was that it happened at a Republican convention. Labor unions have long overwhelmingly supported Democrats and have fought anti union policies backed by Republicans, particularly in Wisconsin. But O'Brien, the head of a $1.3 million member union that has not endorsed in the 2024 presidential race, said he refuses to keep doing the same thing my predecessors did. Today, the Teamsters are here to say we are not beholden to anyone or any party. O'Brien said Trump is not afraid of new, loud, and often critical voices. What he didn't say is that Trump took policy positions while in the White House. This is what he continued to say, the American people aren't stupid. They know the system is broken. We all know how Washington is run. Working people have no chance of winning this fight, O'Brien said. O'Brien used his speech to urge Republicans to take populist, worker-friendly positions that are at odds with much of the party's conservative orthodoxy. Much of much of it received a lukewarm response from the crowd. However, Trump and those in his VIP box watched closely on an illustration of how Trump has turned much of that orthodoxy on its head. The speech was a blaring red alarm for Biden, whose route to the second term is dependent on strong support from union workers in the quote blue wall unquote states of Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Also concerning for Biden is who is attempting to beat back concerns from fellow Democrats over his age, as is the boost that O'Brien gave Trump's image. This is what he said. Whether people like him or they don't like him, in light of what happened to him on Saturday, he has proven to be one tough SOB.
Well, see, here's another thing you want to look at, especially you young people. See, it really has nothing. Well, see, it really has nothing to do with the age and his mental capacity. It's that as long as you do what we tell you to do. Now, I'm gonna say that again. It has nothing to do with the age, because the key thing is the party platform. It's the policies that you pushing. And that's what you should be voting for a candidate for, because you want school choice, you want protection of national produced products, you want tariffs to be levied on imported products, you want energy independence, you want the federal government out of the way of your states because they are overrepresented, they overreaching into things that they don't have the authority by the U.S. Constitution to do. And they do it all the time, by the way. So that's why you vote for a candidate. And if a candidate don't do what you tell him to do or what you want, then you get rid of them. You don't be playing around. Your kids is not. You got kids, Bishop. They got an on-off switch
Oh
on
yeah,
their back.
oh
You
yeah.
can't stop them until somebody good come along that's gonna promote things that's best for them. They gonna continue to grow, and they gonna grow one way or the other, with what's good for them or with what's bad for them.
You know what but you know what I like about Trump. This is one thing I do like about the man, and there's some things I don't like about him. This is one thing I do like about him. At least this Trump of 2024. I'll put it like that. Even more so than before. Though I'm gonna tell you the truth, some of the things he did I really appreciate, sure enough. But right now I see him as reaching out. Republicans normally have not reached out to every facet of the community. He's really reaching out. A lot of the speakers that he had scheduled to speak and did speak were African Americans, women, others of minority groups. He reached out to the Teamsters. He had a girl, Amber Rose, that known to be kind of wild and crazy and all that. But it looked like he's trying to expand. And the Republicans, because they are conservative, they are slow to reach out. They're slow to include. But Trump is looking at things in the future, and he's tired of the Republicans always coming up short in so many instances and only winning through the back door kind of ways. He wants
Well,
to
what
include
did
any
Johnson
and
say?
everybody. And I said it earlier this year. In fact, I said it even before this year. The Republicans need to reach out more than what they do, and you've even mentioned it as well. I know Victor has. So one of the issues is that it's become very parochial.
What's your wife's name? Teresa? Did she ever turn you down? Bishop? Yeah, I can't hear you.
What happened?
I was Teresa. Did you ever turn Bishop down?
No.
I mean, he said when you first met him, did you just open your arms and say, "Come on"? No, you took time. And when
Yeah.
Lyndon B.
Yeah.
Johnson signed the 1964 Civil
He
Rights
don't
Act, what
realize.
did he?
Wait a minute. He
Yeah,
don't realize that we can't hear him. He's talking, but we can't hear him.
yeah. I don't know what happened. He must have got.
Hey, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. We see you talking, but we can't hear you.
He must have muted himself.
Maybe I did. Maybe the phone. Let me see.
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
That's
Yeah.
because I'm in this room. Let me see.
Oh.
Okay, because we'll let you know when we can hear you. We can't hear you. I don't know what happened to his volume. But anyway, what were you saying, Picante? I think I'm saying your name wrong. Hello? Okay, they can't hear me
I
now.
was trying to give an example because when Trump got elected, he tried to reach out to blacks, but blacks was being told by the usual suspects on what to do. The only one that didn't was Ben Carson.
Mm-hmm. Let me give him my phone because I don't know why he can't hear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to give you my phone
Okay.
so you can finish the program.
Because I'm talking over here now. I don't need to do this anymore because I don't call no more.
Well, call it on your phone. I mean, go to StreamYard on your phone.
Well, my woman was through that. Yeah.
21.
Dang.
No, Bianchi was talking.
Okay, well, let me keep on doing.
Here, because you
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Something happened to my phone. I don't know what happened. Oh,
But
okay, but
you was asking a question about blacks.
you're going.
See, blacks wanted to get involved with Trump first is in 2016, 2017, but other blacks, the gatekeepers, told them not to, and they ridiculed him, called him all kind of names. Only one that went further with him, it probably was more, was Ben Carson openly.
True.
And just like the other day, I read something about Al Sharpton. See, he's slick. Al Sharpton said that something went on. It was the elitists is a disgrace for the blacks. And guess who else? He said the Latinos.
Mm.
He's trying, they have been forever. When they say blacks and browns, that right there should make you open your eyes. Because the who quote unquote brown, the Puerto Rican, they don't care about no black Americans. They trying to take what you have had managed to get in your struggles in this society, and they are taking them over.
True.
They don't take over Chicago. Watch me see.
Good
Because
point.
when blacks get into power like that, it just don't work out for the numbers that they try to include. You got successful blacks that's going to be successful no matter who the hell the president is. But
Oh yeah, yeah, you're right.
but the
Absolutely. Yeah.
thing is that you got these leaders. Your Sharptons and Jackson. Jackson is in a wheelchair now,
Yeah.
and they have held you back in many areas with all that rhetoric and stuff. I
That's
don't
true.
know a better way to say it.
We're about through tonight. We thank everyone for coming on. But I want to, Bianca, I want us to deal with, and I want you to I need you to help me with this. Next week, I know we wanted to do the black uh, uh, experience and all that, the state of Black America and all that, and we're going to do it. We might have to do it on the last week of July, but I really want to deal with and delve into this project 2025. There's so much misinformation, so much exaggeration. There's some things that are true, there's some things aren't. But I really want us to really look at that thing. I know right now, and I wanted to talk about that tonight. I may talk about that as well, about the platform as it relates to the Republican Party right now. They approved a new platform. Then I'll deal with that in a minute. But they're dealing with a new platform that aligns with presumptive nominee Donald Trump's political positions, including a shift in abortion policy. The updated platform adopts a leave it to the states approach to abortion, sound like you, Bianchi, restrictions, moving away from the party's long-standing support for national restrictions on abortion. This change marks a departure from decades of strong GOP advocacy for national abortion limits, as reported by Politico. Senator Marsha Blackburn, Republican from Tennessee, co-chair of the RNC's platform committee, said former President Donald Trump, quote, personally reviewed, edited, and approved the platform, unquote. She commented it for she commended it for protecting both the born and the unborn. The platform passed with overwhelming support on a voice vote, though many delegates voiced opposition in the convention room. Anti-abortion advocates expressed concerns about the shift. They argue that the platform represents a retreat from the GOP's historical stance on abortion. Additionally, they raised issues with developing the platform, which they claim was conducted in secret. Tony Perkins, president of the Family Research Council and a platform committee member, commented on his decision to drop efforts to publicly oppose the platform following Saturday's assassination attempt on Trump. Perkins acknowledged the platform's approval and noted the mixed reactions during the vote. Dissenting delegates to the RNC previously released a symbolic minority report, quote unquote, to the party's 2024 platform. The Washington Post reported the delegates argued that the document's treatment of abortion failed to adhere to the founding principles of the country and the Republican Party. So what do you think of that? And I want you to just briefly
I
touch
want
on
you.
that, and then I want to
I
deal
want
with,
you to think. I want you to take 3 seconds and think about what they saying.
okay.
1001, 1002, 1003.
Hmm.
They making mention of a national program.
Right.
The federal government cannot make a program controlling abortion. That's up
Okay.
to the states to do. And what did I mean by control? They can say that you got to have a certified doctor to perform it. Well, that's you want that. You don't want no backroom alley
Yeah.
coat hanger jobs going on like
Right.
people
Right.
complain about.
Yeah.
But that's up to the states. The federal government has no business messing around in your medical concern. The Constitution does not give it that authority. And the way they have taken that authority is because you had judges misrepresenting what the Constitution says rather than representing what the law says. The Constitution is absolute. Please understand that. The only thing that the Constitution gives the federal government that I know of is the control of forts, like when settlers was going out west and they had to have forts here and there for protection against the Indians. They have control over your magazines, like at Harper's Ferry when John Brown tried to take over
Right.
the magazine, which was ammunition. And then they have control over ports of entry, whether it's coming through at the border or it's coming through by ships through those type. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that's mentioned that I can read, and anybody else can read the same thing. So those medical, they have no right to tell you you got to take COVID shots. They have no right to tell you you got to get rid of your barbecue pit. They have no right to tell you a lot of things that people think that they can. And just use some common sense. Bishop, you go to the poll and vote locally, mayor and council people. Then you vote in state for your state legislature.
Right.
Then you voting for judges. Then
Right.
you voting for damn, you all voted out.
By the time you get to the president, you then all the questions they ask you.
Yeah.
You got to answer those questions. This policy, that policy, and all this kind of thing. You're
So
right. It's
what
more
they
than just.
doing is playing,
You're right. It's more than just the president and the vice president we vote for.
whether it
They're
was
the
a
least
Republican,
of the bunch.
whether it's Republicans or Democrats, they have no business telling. That's a state issue about abortion. As long as you follow the medical rules and regulations of a state, you can kill your baby if you want to. That's the
My
way it
lord.
is now.
Oh, they doing it. They doing it. You got that right. They're doing it. They're
They
doing it.
didn't have no business messing with marriage. Marriage was always traditionally, and you hear these judges look at the tradition and practice in the marriage was sanctified by who? The church.
Right.
The marriage was listed in the Bible before they had the complicated records that they have today. Your
Oh yes.
birth and your marriage was listed in your Bible.
Oh yeah. She begot this and he begot that and the other. Joined together. And, you're right. That's
So,
the first institution there was in the world.
as,
Marriage.
as dishonest as it sounds, Virginia, that Virginia versus Lovely versus Virginia, the federal
Mhm.
courts had no business getting involved with the fact of interracial marriage. They didn't have no business getting involved in it, other than maybe a few points. Now you got blacks marrying whites and whites marrying blacks to the point where your activist is pissed off.
Yeah, because we're losing our identity. It's
Look what
being
they say
blended.
about
This
Serena
blended
Williams
stuff. Yeah, this
and
blended
the rest
stuff.
of
Yep.
them.
Yep.
It's, it's funny how that stuff turns
It
around.
does. Yeah, it is. Next week, we want to really deal with, and I want us to really delve in this. President Trump, former president, maybe future president Trump, has disavowed his connection to 2025. I know that for a fact that it was begun back in 1981 under the Heritage Foundation. So there may be some points I'm sure that Trump does agree with. I'm sure there may be points we all may agree with, and there's some points we don't. But I really want us to, because the Democrats are really weaponizing the Project 2025, and to the point that even on Sunday morning, last week in my own church, they said that one of the deacons jumped up there and said that we need to be warned about this and be careful because they get ready to take away your liberty. They get ready to take away your democracy. Blacks, you better be careful because they get ready to take away all your rights and all of this. And I've read some of it. I've not read 900 pages.
Well,
I'm not going to
here's the
pretend to read
thing.
all 900 pages. But some of the things they're saying, I think is an over exaggeration. And what I want to say this, Bianca, and I'm going to let you conclude, then we can close it for tonight. What I want to say is we forget what kind of government we have. There is no president nor any party that them alone can destroy whatever we have. unless we as the people, as you always say,
You
unless
are
we allow it.
absolutely right.
We're not a monarchy.
You
We're
are
not a monarchy
absolutely
where the
right.
king makes an edict and everybody falls, yes, your majesty. We're not a monarchy. And we're not a
Project
dictatorship.
25 cannot take away your liberties unless you
Right.
let them be taken
Thank
away.
you.
But
Thank
spell
you.
out what all they talking about, and we can talk about each one case by
Oh,
case.
okay, I'm gonna do it. Okay, that's good. 'Cause I
All
gotta
right.
go. Number
I'll talk to
one.
you later.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you the points, and I'm gonna let you go.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, government, immigration, climate and economy, and abortion, and tech and education. Those are the 5 points.
All right.
Okay. God bless you. Thank you all
I
for
bless
tuning
you.
in. See you next week. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Tree.